welcome back to our Tuesday night live video here on the channel. So freaking excited to talk to you tonight. We are going to be talking about 7 tips to basically things to do to avoid when losing weight. So if you are trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get healthier, if you have said this is the year that I'm going to shed those pounds, this is the year I'm going to become the best version of myself, this is the year I'm going to give you some things to avoid to actually achieve the goal, to go from becoming a doer versus just a dreamer, to go to having accomplished your goals versus just hoping and dreaming about them. And so we're going to go through 7 different tips, strategies, things that you can avoid to have success when it comes to weight loss, because there's a bunch of people that start a weight loss journey at the beginning of every year. And there's a tiny fraction of a percentage that actually finish. The numbers are more than 70% of our adults today are overweight and they don't want to be. And so I am on a personal mission, a personal mandate, if you will, to help as many people as I possibly can get on the other side of that, to overcome this thing called weight, to ditch the pesky pounds, or as one of my friends says, the LBs. I'm going to drop the LBs. Anyway, so if you have not, this is your first time here, or if you've been back multiple times and you have not hit the subscribe button, the little button down there, make sure to do that. Ring the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our videos on Tuesday nights, our recipes, our interviews, our tips, any of that, as well as give us a thumbs up tonight if you hear anything that is relevant, that is helpful, and leave us a comment in the comments. All of that combined, it actually takes me longer to say it than it does for you to do it, and it really helps out the channel here. So, and shockingly enough, it actually will help you out to lose weight. Birds of a feather flock together. Iron sharpens iron. When you're in a place where you're putting the right things into here, the right things naturally start to come out of here. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump in. Number 1 thing to avoid when it comes to losing weight is negative people. Negative people. And these are in no particular order. It just... whatever. Negative people. Why? Because if you show me the 5 closest people to you, and if you show me the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most, I can show you your future. And that is the case with every single thing. Your finances, your career, your marriage, your parenting. If you hang out with a bunch of adulterous women and you're a woman, it's only going to be a matter of time before you're adulterous. If you are skinny and fit, and you hang out with a bunch of overweight people, it's only a matter of time until you are going to be have a weight issue. If you hang out with a bunch of people who are irresponsible with their spending and they spend all they make, it's only going to be a matter of time before you're spending everything you make. Our environment matters, and our environment is everything. So, with that being said, if you're on a weight loss journey, if you're on a quest to lose weight, if this is the year that you're finally going to go get your dream body, then you've got to hang out with other people that are going in that same direction. You've got to put yourself into positions, into environments where iron sharpens iron, where you're surrounding yourself with other people that are going in that very same direction. And so, I discovered this when it came to business. And when I rededicated 8 years ago to losing weight, it was one of the first things I changed. In the world we live in today, it's easier than it's ever been. Why? Because we run virtual monthly boot camps where we're all in a group. We have people from all different states, all different countries who are connecting through different types of technology, through a private app, through groups on wherever, and we're connecting together. We're flocking together. We're moving in the same direction together. Listen, most people are freaking negative. That's just the truth. That's the bottom line. It's the unfortunate facts. Most people are just negative. If you just leave it to chance, you're going to find yourself being just another Debbie Downer. But when you remove yourself out of those environments, and when you start intentionally seeking out people who are positive, who are moving their life in a positive direction, who are making a change for the better, and you start hanging out with them, even virtually, like we're doing right now. We are live here on the channel every single Tuesday with tips on helping you lose weight for free. Wednesday, We're back every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our show, The Biggest Transformation. Like, some of my influences when I started losing weight, I didn't even know them. But we would hang out virtually, which basically means I was watching their videos. To me, it was hanging out. And they influenced my life. So much so that I went from a size 22 down to a size 2, and I've maintained it for almost 7 freaking years. So you don't always even have to know personally the people you're allowing to influence you. But we've got to get rid of the negative people. We've got to limit the time we're spending inside of negativity. So that's number 1. Number 2 thing to avoid when it comes to losing weight: fad diets. Fad diets. Diet culture in general. The whole premise of a diet is I'm going to make these changes. I'm going to cut these things out until I get to a certain goal. And when I get to that goal, then you're going to go back to living life. Okay? However, here's the problem with that line of thinking. If you cut all the things out, if you change your behavior to get a certain result, and then when you get the result, you go back to the old behavior, what happens? When you revert back to the old behavior, you also go back to the old result. This is why many of us are weight loss roller coaster people. We lose it, we lose it, we gain it. We lose it, we gain it. We go up, we go down. We go up, we go down. Actually, we go down, we go up. However, it's harder to lose it than it is to gain it, right? Just how it is. It wouldn't be awesome if it was just as fun to lose it as it was to gain it. In some ways it is, though. In some ways it is. Anyway, you have got to get rid of the fad diets. You've got to pick something because however you lose it, it's how you're going to have to maintain it. However you lose it is how you're going to have to maintain it. So before you're picking a way to lose it, I was very picky when it came to how I was going to lose it, because I thought about, do I want to do this forever? Do I want to do this forever? And if the answer was no, then, and obviously eating cheesecake and donuts every day wasn't a good answer. That was going to keep me right where I was. And so when I came up with changing my diet and, controlling what I ate and exercising 6 days a week, 30 minutes a day, it wasn't because I loved exercising. It was because I can do that. Okay, I can do that. That was actually going to give me the life I wanted. Anyway. So fad diets. Get rid of the fad diets. Get rid of the quick, get skinny quick ideas. Get rid of the ab things. You just strap this thing to your abs and it's going to give you a 6-pack. Yeah, freaking right. It is not. You cannot strap any belt to your freaking abs and eat it whenever you want and get a 6-pack. It doesn't happen. I saw a meme the other day and it said, what did it say? It said, you can't eat a bunch of crap and get a 6-pack. And then the meme said, through Christ, all things are possible. I was like, maybe God will miraculously come down and wham, give you steel 6-pack, whatever, Superman abs. But you let me know when that happens. You'll be a billionaire when that happens. Anyway, so that's number 2. Number 3 thing to avoid when it comes to losing weight: drinking your calories. Drinking your calories. There's only one exception to this rule, and that is if you're using some kind of like meal replacement shake. I drink a shake every single day. It's got like 70 different superfoods in it. I'm not a vitamin person. Like, I just don't love taking all the vitamins. And so, but I know nutrition was important. I knew if I'm losing weight, I didn't want my hair to fall off. I didn't want my teeth to break. I didn't want my skin to be wonky. I knew I needed to take care of myself as I'm aging, right? And so I found something that has all my vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in it, and I drink that. But with the exception of that, don't drink your calories. The smoothies, all the kombuchas in the store, the tropical fruit smoothies that you go through and there's like 800 calories in a freaking smoothie. Regular sodas, juices. If you like juice, eat the fruit. It's much better to actually eat the orange than to drink orange juice. It's much better to eat the apple than drink apple juice. Like, my kids don't get juice. They've never had juice. They didn't grow up on juice. They grew up on water. And when they were little, I switched over to nut milk because I actually read a statistic that said there's more calcium in nut milk than in milk. And I was like, nuh-uh. Like calcium, like milk comes from cows. Nut milk comes from nuts. And I freaking researched it and I was like, shut the front door. Here I was giving my kids milk for calcium. And there was more milk and no more calcium in nut milk. I was astounded. I just sat there and I was like, I've been duped. Like, you ever find something like that? You just literally feel like I've been had. How I felt that day. So my kids got switched over to nut milk, and they have nut milk with their cereal. We buy nut chocolate milk. To them, when they say, Mom, can we get some chocolate milk? They're talking about chocolate almond milk, right? And so, because the only reason they were getting milk was for the calcium and all the vitamins. And so anyway, I say all that to say, don't drink your calories. And this was something we even taught to our kids, because most of us have learned to drink our calories from a young age. Most little kids are sucking down juice boxes and Capri Suns and, all the things. And they learn from a little age to not like water. My kids love water. Like, my little 2-year-old walks around, water please, water please. She drinks a freaking crap ton of water. Why? Because that's what she was taught. So it's just because we've trained ourselves to like all those other things. But as you start drinking water and you stop drinking your calories, then you're going to find that you actually feel better. Your skin looks better. Your weight loss is faster when you're not drinking your calories. All right, fourth one, eating all of your food within a 12-hour window. Okay, eating all of your food within a 12-hour window. And when I was a morbidly obese woman, it never even occurred to me how long it was taking me to eat my food and how long I wasn't eating food. And so I'm talking about anything with calories. I'm not talking about water or herbal teas or any 0-calorie foods. I'm talking about things with calories. When you're trying to lose weight, you want to have all of your calories, all of your food within a 12-hour period. We call that a feeding window. Like, whenever I say that, I always feel like I'm an animal or something. Here's my feeding window at the zoo, please. Anyway, so so if you start your first meal at 8 a.m., you want to be done eating by 8 p.m. This actually helps speed up your metabolism. It helps with hormone balance stuff. It helps, without getting into a science lesson, it helps with a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of hormones that get released and controlled and all this stuff. And a lot of our habits, a lot of the way we eat, controls a lot of that. And so eating all of your food within a 12-hour window is going to determine, it's going to really help when it comes to your weight loss. All right. So get all of your food in within 12 hours. And, so often people say, well, Carmen, what if I want to eat my last meal at 7 o'clock at night? Well, then don't eat your first meal until 7 a.m. Because if you start eating by 7 a.m., your last meal will be at 7. You'll need to be done eating by 7 p.m. So you can start eating whenever you want. Just know that if you start at 7, you need to be done by 7. If you start at 9, you need to be done by 9. If you start at noon, you need to be done by midnight. 12-hour window. And you can shrink that, by the way. Someone's going to ask that. I normally am between an 8 and a 10-hour feeding window, depending on my goals and what I'm doing. But I started off with a 12-hour window. Once I got good at that, I was doing it for a couple months. It wasn't a problem. Then I shrunk it to 10 and then to 8. And just, again, depending on life, it's an 8 or 10-hour window. But 12, start there. Start there. All right. Number 5, thing to avoid. Cutting out food groups. Avoid cutting out food groups and avoid any diet or anything that's going to tell you to cut out food groups. Again, it's about sustaining. It's about maintaining. It's about you actually losing the weight and keeping it off, because it doesn't do you any good if you go lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, and then you gain it all back. It doesn't do you any good to have 4 or 5 sizes in your closet. It doesn't do you any good to be on this weight loss roller coaster. It certainly is not good for our psyche. It's not good for our bodies. It's not good for our emotional stuff going on in here. And so, avoid cutting out food groups. And so often people are like, well, Carmen, what do you think about keto? Well, does keto tell you to cut out foods? Yes, it tells you to cut out carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. Everything in moderation. Balance is actually the key. And so again, if we go back to the first one where the fad diets, if you cut out carbs to lose the weight, are you planning on cutting out carbs for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, then why would you do it just to lose weight? Because as soon as you go back to, I know people's hope I know what they sell you when they're selling you the diet and the shakes and the thing to get you into ketosis is just go lose the weight. But come on, think for just a moment. And I didn't for a long time because I wanted to be freaking skinny for so bad. I bought all of the crap, all of the things. I lost the weight and then I'd go gain it back, because if you make a change and then you stop making the change, you go right back to where you came from. And so all the food groups are good. Carbs, proteins, fats. They're all great in the right quantities. So you don't have to cut out food groups to lose weight. You don't have to cut out carbs to lose weight. I went from a size 22 down to a size 2 eating carbs. I was back in my pre-baby body, my pre-baby pants within 4 weeks, still eating carbs. So you can still eat carbs, helping our clients lose weight. Well, they're still eating carbs. They're not cutting them out. And so there's actually studies that show it's bad for your memory. It's bad for your brain function to completely cut those things out. And so anyway, all right. The sixth thing that you have to avoid to have success in weight loss is self-hate. Self-hate, self-doubt, negative self-talk. Okay. So a lot of people, myself included, we can look in the mirror and cut ourselves down. We can pick ourselves apart. We can point out all the areas we suck, or we messed up, or we're not good enough, or this doesn't look right, or that doesn't look right, or we got this and that here. But you will never, hear me on this, you will never hate your way to your dream body. You will never hate your way to the life, the body, the health that you so desperately want. The only way you're going to get there is learning you can love yourself where you're at while still not settling to stay there. Because your weight has nothing to do with who you are. It's a characteristic of your body and of our choices. It's a reflection of our choices is what it is, but it has nothing to do with who you are. And when you lose weight, it only makes you more of who you are. Success in any area, you know, sometimes I'll hear people say, well, Carmen, you know, I don't want to get too skinny and become one of those wenchy broads. Well, are you a wenchy broad now? Because if you're not wenchy, if you're fluffy, what makes you, are you just going to naturally, no. Success, when you get skinny, if you're a kind human, you're going to be a kind human. If you're fluffy and you're a wench bag, then you're going to be a skinny wench bag. So success only makes you more of who you are. And so if you're a kind human, when you get to your goal weight, you're going to be a kinder human. It makes you more of who you are. If you're a wench bag, you're going to be a wenchier wench bag. You're going to be a bigger wench bag, even though you're smaller. And so in self-hate, by the way, is a habit. It's a habit. And most of us learned it from the time we were kids. We've got to make a habit out of honoring our bodies, honoring ourselves, because honor builds up. Dishonor tears down. And so it's about you honoring your body, honoring yourself, and while working towards who you want to become. And that self-hate, telling yourself you're stupid, you're good for nothing, why even get your hopes up, you can't do it, you're a failure, you're big boned, you're always going to be fluffy. Those things don't help, and they're not the truth. So our last and final one, things to avoid when it comes to losing weight, is over snacking. Over snacking. This is a huge mistake that I see people make when it comes to losing weight. And so my general rule I am not a fan, so I told you guys 12-hour window, right? So you want to eat all your food within 12 hours. There's some people that are going to tell you to eat every hour, every 2 hours. I'm not going to I'm going to tell you to have, what I personally do, I have 3 meals and 1 snack. 3 meals and 1 snack. Most of my clients start off with 3 meals and 2 snacks. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then they'll have a small snack in between breakfast and lunch and dinner, or after dinner, as long as it's within your 12-hour window. So you want to have anywhere from 4 to 5, again, 3 meals, 2 small snacks. And the small snacks might be a couple rice cakes, might be a serving of nuts, it might be a piece of toast, it might be an apple or an orange or 10 baby carrots or some cucumbers. My snack isn't a meal. Does that make sense? And so over snacking can actually mess with your hormones. You know, all the hormones that cause you to be hungry, that cause your metabolism to slow down, that cause your insulin levels to spike, all those things, unhealthy insulin levels. Over snacking and overeating and constantly grazing throughout the day doesn't help with that. Like, we need to make sure we're giving our body time to metabolize the food, to process the food, versus constantly spiking by constantly nibbling, by constantly grazing, by constantly eating. And you're not going to find somebody who's constantly has the habit of eating who typically carries a good weight. Most people that are grazers and they eat all throughout the day have a weight problem. And in many cases also have some hormone issues going on as well. And so 3 meals, 1 to 2 snacks, that is it. We don't need 4 snacks in a day. We don't always have to have a snack after dinner. My kids get snacks at Grandma and Grandpa's house after dinner because it's Grandma and Grandpa's house, but when they're home, they maybe get a nighttime snack once a week, maybe. They eat a good dinner and then we're done. We done. So anyway, those are our things that you can do things to avoid when losing weight. And so tomorrow at 12:30, we have another episode of The Biggest Transformation coming up here on the channel. We are right now in season 4. We are going to be wrapping that very soon, and we are going to be opening up applications for season 5. Season 5, can you believe it? So we're going to be looking for the cast for that very soon. So if you know somebody who wants to lose some weight, and The Biggest Transformation, if you haven't, I'll link the season down below for The Biggest Transformation, but it is our highest level of accountability, but it's also our biggest result getting program. Like we have people losing 100 pounds in 6 months, 46 pounds in 3 months, 45 pounds in 3 months, 38 pounds in 3 months. Like the results are crazy. Krista Joy, 85 pounds in 6 months. Like the results are crazy that they get. And so we're going to be opening up those applications for our next season. So let me know in the comments if you want some information on that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to smash the like button if you haven't. Leave us a comment down below, and we will see you same time, same place next week.